Hey guys, we're in the car headed for a surprise trip, and I thought I'd take you along with me. It has already been a long day. We actually have been out of town for the last 3 days in Maryland. We landed earlier this afternoon. We came home, literally fed Max, fed ourselves, checked on the garden, did a quick but bountiful harvest, repacked for a day on our way to go get a special surprise. So it's me, hubby, and the prince back there. So I cannot wait to show you guys what we're up to. You're probably thinking, why did you get off the road and going back on the road? Because it's the only time we could do it, y'all. Schedules are busy. It's crazy. This is the only time we can make it happen. So we're going to go make it happen. So I'll see you when we get there. Hey guys, it's actually the next morning. We were tired. We were never planning to make it the whole way anyway, but we made it about 2 hours, and we had to stop and pull over and get some rest at a hotel. So it's the next day, it's the next morning. We probably got 3 hours ahead of us, and so we're on our way. We're filling up at the gas station, and we're going to be headed that way. Can't wait to show you what we're going to get. Hey guys, another pit stop to use the bathroom. Right quick, we're only 15 minutes away, so in total it's a 5-hour drive. So we did 2 hours last night, 3 hours today, but I'm super excited for you guys to see what this pickup is all about. Right here, baby.
Arrived.
We're picking up another dog. Oh my goodness, is she not beautiful? She looks just like Sunika. Okay, so here's the deal. We drove 5 hours to Cincinnati, Ohio to pick up our new dog. She is a South African Mastiff, which is what we had. She is a puppy. She is 8 months old, and we have decided to name her Lexie. You see me here just giving her so much love, and she's so sweet and was willing to take all the love and was like, yes, give it to me. I love her already. Now it's time for her to meet our son. He is petting her. He approves. He says she's sweet. And then now we're going to let Daddy meet her and play with her a little bit. So as you can see, she is so sweet and mild-mannered. Sweet little puppy. Even though she's 94 pounds, she's a 94-pound puppy at 8 months old. So we're all taking turns just petting her, interacting with her. Now we are meeting her dad. That's her dad. Look how beautiful. You can see how big the daddy is. And now this is the mom. So the mom is a black South African Mastiff, and she's not the nicest. He told us to stand back. He said that she does not do strangers at all. But that was my first time seeing a black South African Mastiff. Now it's time to take Lexie home. So my husband had to lift her to put her in the truck, and he's trying to get her to go in the crate. Obviously, she's a little nervous because this is all new to her. So she's a little reluctant. So he's going to have to help her out a little bit and get her into the crate because she's not really wanting to go. But again, that's to be expected. She's a puppy. This is all new for her. Who are these people? Where are they taking me? And why am I on the back of a truck? But we got her all locked in, took the leash off, and we're on our way back home. Okay, so now we're at our first pit stop. We had to make, I think three or four stops. She's a puppy. And y'all, it was really hot on this day. And so we could tell that she was hot and needed some water. So we found a pet store. Look at her little bandana. This is a cooling bandana. You wet it with water and then put it around their neck, and it helps to cool them off. So we bought that at a pet store, and now we're just taking her out to try to find a spot to use the bathroom. This is behind the pet store, so that's where they take all the pets and the animals. The store was so nice. And so helpful in getting us situated and getting her water and all that good stuff. So first pit stop, and now we're headed back to the truck. Okay, this is our final pit stop. At this point, we are about an hour away from home. And I think this is our third stop to let her use the bathroom, get her water. By this time, it is about to be dark, so it's much cooler. She's not overheated like she was before. You can tell she's very nervous. She's been on the back of a truck for the last 6 hours, so a 5-hour trip turned into a 7-hour trip. Now she's on the back of the truck for the last time. She's just looking around, and we're headed home and can't wait to introduce her to Max. Okay, so it's actually the next morning because when we got home, it was really, really dark outside, so I couldn't record it. But they did very well when they first met each other. There has not been any barking as of yet. Well, Max growled one time, but so far they are getting along great. They haven't really straight out played. It's been more of Lexie following Max around. There have been times when Max seems almost annoyed, like, why are you here? But I'm sure that will pass. They're only 24 hours in at the time of this video, but this is the very next morning. Once Lexie got here, she stayed in the garage overnight in a crate, just because we didn't want to leave her out at night, and she hadn't really, seen the property. So on this morning, my husband said, just let her off leash and see what she does. I was a little nervous, but she's done just fine. She's been out all day. Every time I go out there to check on her, she's outside. She hadn't run off, but we just kind of walked a lot of the property, let her sniff around and smell. Y'all, we have a dog, another dog. I'm so excited. My heart is so happy. Let me tell you, when I lost my last dog, y'all, it's been rough. It has been rough. Do you hear me? But I'm so thankful, and I cannot wait to tell you how this all happened. And I hear Max and Lexie coming down because they heard my voice. Say hello, boys and girls. Lexie, say hi to the people. Say hi to the people. Max, we still love you too. I just came out here to shoot this part of the video, so not necessarily, I got on my slide, so. Okay. They don't want to say hi to the camera. Okay, but I gotta tell you how this all came to be. And I'm so thankful because God will restore, right? So one of my subscribers saw my video that I posted about losing Sunica. If you're new here and you have not seen the video about us losing our dog about a month ago, I'll post it up here, or you can kind of just go back a few videos. But anyway, a subscriber reached out to me and said, hey, I want to say that she said she's a new subscriber. She said, I don't usually email or comment, but I saw your story. It was very touching. And I wanted to let you know that I have a friend, Lexie. Okay, girl, hold on. Right here. You want to say hi? Say hi. Hi. Okay, so she reached, you can tell she's a puppy because she loves to play. Loves to play. Okay, so one of the subscribers reached out to me. She said, hey, I have a friend who breeds South African Mastiffs, which is, I think, is the kind that you have. And I was like, oh, okay, great. Let me know, what he has. And so she said he has an 8-month-old puppy. He lives in Ohio. And she said, oh, don't worry, it's not going to cost you, basically an arm and a leg. And these dogs are expensive, right? And I told y'all when we got the other one, I was working a big old corporate job, right? I don't work a big corporate job anymore. I have my own business, and when you're a business owner, it ebbs and it flows, and it ebbs and it flows. Anyway, that's beside the point. So she reached out to me and I said, okay, well, send me, a couple of pictures. She sent me a couple of pictures. I was like, oh, she's beautiful. And I said, well, what is he asking for it, right? So she came back with the price, which again, it was a pretty standard price. And I said, hey, you know what? I really, really appreciate it, but I'm just not able to do that right now, right? But I really thank you for reaching out to me and for thinking of me. And I kind of just I had told my husband, I showed him the pictures, and I had let it go. I'm like, okay, moving on. And we had talked about, you know, okay, Max needs a playmate. Do we just go to the pound and get a free dog just to have him a playmate until we can afford to get the dog that we want? So we had talked about that, right? Then we had another friend who was selling, he breeds German Shepherds. So he was breeding German Shepherds, and he asked if we knew anybody that wanted to buy one. And it was a very low price, well within our range or whatever. And so I was like, oh, well, maybe we should get a German Shepherd, which I had wanted a German Shepherd before until I got a South African Mastiff, right? Or Boerbel. They go by either name. And so we thought, okay, well, maybe we should pull the trigger on the German Shepherd. Well, in between that time of making the decision, and again, it was like, that's not really what I want. Like, I'll do it, but I still want a South African Mastiff, if that makes sense. Like, we can get the German Shepherd because I want Max to have a playmate. I want to have 2 dogs on the property, yada, yada, yay. And I want a dog that is, you know, that has that protector mentality. Max is a black lab. Now, you wouldn't think he's a black lab because he got an edge from being out in the country and being around Seneca, right? But you know, labs are supposed to be friendly. Y'all, the UPS man can't even come to my house because Max cuts the fool, okay? Black labs. And Max has bit a little girl before, like nipped her, one of our friends' daughters. Like, y'all know black labs don't do that. Like, they're the #1 family dog. But Max got an edge, I think, from being around Seneca. Okay, anyway, so bringing it in. So we talked about getting the German Shepherd. Well, in between that time, as we were having a discussion, the subscriber reached back out to me and she said, hey, well, what are you willing to pay? Because he just wants the dog to go to a loving home. And I wasn't expecting that because, again, I'm not the type of person that will try to necessarily cut a deal or try to get people to come off their price, right? Your price is your price. If I can afford it, great. If I can't, then I just can't afford it, right, at this time. But I never try to get people to come down on off their prices. Why? Because I'm a business owner and I know how that feels, right? So I was never going to ask that. But when she came back and said, hey, he wants to know what can you do? He just wants a dog to go to a loving home. I said, okay, well, this is what I can do. And it was $1,000 less than what they asked for. And she came back and said, hey, he's willing to consider that. And I was like, he is? What? And so she said, why don't you call him and talk to him? Here's his number. And I was thinking, I said, but hold on, before we do that, where in Ohio? Because even though I want a Mastiff and I want the dog that I want, I'm not really willing to drive like 20 hours to go get one. Like, it's deep. It ain't that deep. So she said, he's in Cincinnati. And so I just put in a quick Google search. I was like, oh, Cincinnati's only 5 hours from me? I'm like, I'll do 5 hours. Like, that's my limit. I'll do 5 hours. So I talked to my husband about it. We were at the dinner table. And I said, can you believe this? He was like, no. He was like, I don't know. So anyway, we called the gentleman. We both talked to him on speakerphone. Great conversation. He told us about her temperament and what he said. He's like, she is so sweet, so very playful. Like, she's good with my kids. He told us about the mom and the dad. He was like, the dad was actually imported from Africa, just like my Seneca was. And the dad was a protector dog back in Africa. The mom, he said, definitely has the protector instinct. As you can see on the video, he's like, she does not do strangers whatsoever. If you're not in this family, she's not fooling with you. So he was like, even though obviously I haven't seen her demonstrate that, it definitely has to be in her bloodline and in her DNA. And right now she's a puppy. So he told us about her temperament. He told us about her parents. She's registered. He told us the whole 9 yards. And I said, hey, this is the price that we can do. And he said, let me just talk to my wife and let me let you know if we actually can do that. I said, okay, not a problem. At this point, of course, my hopes are getting up because we've had a conversation. But I said, you know what? I'm not going to stress about it. Well, he came back the next day and said, we are willing to take your price. I could not believe it. I was like, thank you, Jesus. Let me tell you something. She was waiting just for me and my family. So anyway, fast forward, we arranged a time for us to go pick her up, which is what you saw on the video. We met the guy, super, super nice. Like, everything was legitimate. He had the papers. She's microchipped, all her blood tests, like, just And again, I wasn't really big on her being registered because we're not going to breed her. I just like the type of dog, right? I fell in love with the Boerbels, the South African Mastiffs, so I just wanted that type of dog. I was not really, I mean, it didn't matter to me if she was registered and had all the, blah, 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 blah. As long as she was a full-blooded Mastiff, I was good with it. But she's registered, got all the credentials, the pedigree, the whole 9 yards. And so far, she is so sweet. Like, I think anybody can walk up to her and she'll be like, hey, whatever. Now, obviously that's going to change as she gets bigger. And her and Max have been getting along. They haven't really played and tussle like him and Sunika would do. And I guess it'll just take some time. It's funny, though, that when we first got home, Max looked at her like, almost like, is that Sunika? But obviously she's much smaller than Sunika. But he, of course, what do dogs do? They sniffed each other. I'm sorry, getting a call. Hold on a second. Okay. So he sniffed her and then he went straight to her stomach because the last time he saw Sunika, that's where she was bleeding from. So it's amazing how dogs remember that. It's like he sniffed her and was like, you're not Sunika. Like, you're not her. You're somebody different. And he has been nice to her, but they haven't really just played. And there's been times, she wants to play and he's like, and like walk off and, just kind of leave her there. But that's okay. I'm sure they will become thick as thieves and the best of buddies. Lexie had a different name with her owner. So we are training her the new name because I wanted her to have the name that I wanted. Because with Sunika, that was the name given to her when she came over from Africa. And by the time we got her on the property, she was already 3 years old. And so I didn't want to try to change her name after all that time. But since she's 8 months, we changed her name to Lexie. So, hey, Max. We still love you, Max. And we love you too, Lexie. We love you too. So, I can't wait to put on some real shoes and run around with her because I'm sure she wants to expend some energy for sure. She is Miss Playful, but she's extremely smart. I went to the tunnel this morning, of course, to see if she would follow me, and she did. And she wanted to come into the tunnel, and I was like, nope, because I don't let my dogs in the tunnel. And so she tried again, and I said no, and she stayed. Then I went to the garden. She tried to come in there, and I had to tell her like 3 or 4 times no, and so she didn't come in there. So we'll see how it goes later on this afternoon when I'm actually out there working. I was just down there just to see what she would do. So we'll see, and I'm sure you'll see her on plenty of videos, and we'll have to train her and all that good stuff. Like she did get in my flower bed this morning. I was like, that's an absolute no. My flower bed in the middle of my house. Like she was just doing her little sniffing journey. And so she just walked on through, and I was like, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. We don't do that. But yeah, so we're in the whole acclimation mode, getting to know each other. But so far, so good. I just want to say to the subscriber that reached out to me, I thank you from the bottom of my heart because you did not have to email me. You didn't. You could have saw my video and went on about your way. But because of you, we were able to get the dog that we wanted at a price that we could afford. And it was within the distance that we were able to drive, and we were able to get her. And she's a puppy. So if I didn't get one that was, like 6 weeks old, then I wanted to get something that was at least, under years old, because, it's hard to kind of integrate a grown dog into your family already. So I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I want to just say, I can't say enough about this community, and not just this community, but this is what community is all about. Right? It's helping each other, not just on my YouTube page, but if you're part of your community neighborhood, if you're part of your church, your sorority, your fraternity, whatever it is, community is so important. In this crazy, chaotic world, kindness always can win. It takes nothing or very little effort to just reach out to someone and say, hey, I think I may have what you need, or hey, here's a resource. Hey, here's something that you can try. Right? And so that is what I strive to do each and every time I come on video, is to cultivate a community of gardeners, that it is a safe space for you to not know nothing about what you're doing, but to learn and grow. And if you know a lot, I want to create a safe space that you feel like you can share, you can comment. Like, it's not just me. I'm just the face of the YouTube page, but I like you guys in the comments, giving other people suggestions. That is what it's all about. Because at the end of the day, it's not about me. It's about us growing food. And however we get there, by hook or by crook, whatever resource, whatever piece of knowledge, whatever tip that gets us over the edge and gets us to grow more food or gets us to have a more abundant harvest, that is what it's all about. And so not only to the subscriber do I say thank you, but I say thank you to all of you guys who watch my videos day in and day out, every comment, every email. Y'all, we almost close to 7,000. And I'm so glad, but it's all because of you. And I'm so grateful. So I hope that this video gives you some hope and some encouragement for whatever dark may be going on in your life, that God will restore. There is always a ram in the bush, and there's always somebody that has what you need. But don't just wait for the light to come to you. You be the light. All right? What somebody said, be the change you want to see. Like, you be the light. So make sure that if you're part of a community, that you're not just a receiver, but that you're also a giver. So thank you guys so much for joining me on this very special YouTube video with our newest addition to the farm, which is Lexie. Gardening is still a journey. Let us grow together. I'll see you next time, friend.